Gentlemen, good afternoon. Everything's the same as usual. We have Hawkeye, so when you're challenging, just do it quickly and clearly, please. Any questions? Need anything?
No.
Andy?
Go ahead.
Alex? Say again. Heads. Heads. And yes. Receiving.
So it's fine.
Okay.
He's going to receive?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Alexandr Dolgopolov last year, a semi-finalist at Eastbourne on the ATP World Tour, and he made the quarter-final rounds of tournaments in Umag, in Moscow, and indeed in St. Petersburg. He made his Grand Slam debut last year at Roland Garros, where he went through to the third round of the French Championship. Making his debut on Pat Rafter Arena, let's welcome from the Ukraine, Alexandr Dolgopolov. Andy Roddick is the defending men's singles champion here at the Brisbane International. Also last year, he won the Miami singles title, was a finalist in San Jose and at Indian Wells, and a semi-finalist in Atlanta, in Cincinnati and Bath. He's now won 29 career singles titles, including the 2003 US Open Championship. He's the second seed here at the Brisbane International in 2011. From the United States of America, let's welcome back Andy Roddick. Ladies and gentlemen, for this third match on centre court in the chair from Dublin, Ireland, we welcome Mr. Fergus Murphy.
Welcome back to the Brisbane International, and then second round clash about to get underway on Pat Rafter Arena between Andy Roddick and Alexandr Dolgopolov. Now, Dolgopolov won the toss and elected to receive, so hold on to your hats. This is going to be a lot of fun as we join in commentary Jeff Masters and Todd Woodbridge.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to be with you for what I think Jeff Masters is going to be probably the best of the second round matches here at the Brisbane International in terms of the lineup that we're going to see.
I think so. Dolgopolov had a real breakout year last year, 2010, didn't he? And up against a player of, well, the calibre of Andy Roddick. He is a genuine superstar, former Grand Slam champion at the US Open, and of course he's won a tour event every year the last 9 years, at least one every year, and that's pretty rare. So really good matchup. And Dolgopolov,
well, he's 22 years of age, and we heard in his pre-match interview he spent a month down here in Australia training. He has an Australian coach named Jack Reeder. He had an exceptionally good year. He started the year just outside the top 100 and then finished it cracking the top 50 at 48. Semis in Eastbourne, but a good Grand Slam result, reaching a third round at his first attempt at Roland Garros. And he's very exciting. He is a unique sort of player, unusual in terms of his technique. He slaps a lot of winners. Unpredictable is the word you'd use for him, because you're never quite sure, and he's never quite sure which shot he's going to play next.
makes it interesting, doesn't it? He's quite special. Andy Roddick, he's 28 years of age, currently ranked 8th in the world, seeded second, the title holder here. And as we mentioned, he's won a tour event every year the last 9 years, and one of those last year was right here in Brisbane, and he also won in Miami. Likes the hard courts, that's where he's really had his best results, and of course he is a former US Open winner on that particular surface.
Well, we're not far away. Our umpire for today's match is Fergus Murphy. We'll take a look at him when we come back.
2 minutes.
Roddick and Dolgopolov when we return.
I use the dead wood to make the fire rise. The blood of innocence burning in the sky.
1 minute. Ladies and gentlemen, this match will be the best of 3 tie-break sets. Alexandr Dolgopolov won the toss and chose to receive. Time.
Welcome back to the Brisbane International, the Queensland Tennis Centre. We're on Pat Rafter Arena, and the crowds have continued to flock in here to this beautiful stadium. Near to a full house for what should be one of the best matches that we're going to see in the lineup today. 2 quick women's singles, unfortunately for Australia's Sally Pearce and Jelena Dokic, but I expect that this one is going to be a lot tighter than those
First set, Andy Roddick to serve. Ready? Play. Let's first serve. $15 love.
I expect we're going to see a number of those aces. 2-13 just to warm their arm up in the opening game. And Andy, this week is every ace he serves, he's giving $100 to the Queensland Flood Relief.
$40. Roddick.
Well, love service game, and joining us courtside is John Fitzgerald. Fitzy, it's a pretty big serve from where you're sitting.
Anything looks big to me these days, Todd. No, but it is huge. It's hard to believe Andy Roddick at 28 years of age he's still in his 20s. He's been around forever, it seems. He's been a great warhorse, I think, for our sport, and a really great leader in the sport at the top of the men's game. But I've got a lot of interest in Dolgopolov here today. The coach of my old alma mater in Sacred Heart College in South Australia is the coach of Alexandr Dolgopolov, and Jack Reeder is here watching. He'll be very interested also.
Love 15.
We had a great month of preparation for all the Australian players down in Melbourne during the December showdown, and Dolgopolov was around that whole month, so seen quite a bit of him, Jeff, and he did practice with all of our guys at various intervals throughout the month, and geez, he's a tough practice opponent.
Well, if he can serve like that, he'll be tough to get into a game, but that's a big serve.
And that's why he's so tough. He can.
He's wearing a white cap.
He's just unpredictable. He doesn't look like he's got that fast arm. But you'll see incredible racket head speed on every shot that he hits.
30-15.
with the white cap there. That's Jack Reeder that Fitzy was talking about.
Yeah, a lot of racket head speed there. He is unorthodox. Look at that, wow. And it's difficult to generate pace off a slow ball, and Roddick's return didn't have a lot on it, so for him to generate that sort of pace off the ground stroke was impressive, and so was the serve speed, 204 kilometres an hour. That's getting up there.
One game all.
One game all. Love 15.
When you play against an opponent who is so unpredictable, it often takes you out of your own rhythm, and you, as Andy often does, because he's so big, he makes people rush and feel they've got to serve bigger. But he's not used to coming up against that type of opponent on the other end of the court that makes him feel that way, and Dolgopolov can do that to you.
Oh, he's missed it. He really had a breakout year last year as we look at Mrs. Roddick there. Dolgopolov had a terrific year. And you look to see how players perform on all surfaces, and he had a good result the French Open, got to the third round. He lost in 5 sets at Wimbledon on grass to Zonga, obviously a world-class player, so he's... Good shot. Oh, that's a gem. Roddick's not certain about it, but it looked good from our angle, and I think he's acknowledging it now.
Mr. Roddick challenging the call, left baseline. Ball was called in.
Well, that backhand, it sort of defied physics how flat it was hit down the highest part of the net or over it. It's caught the line, so it's break points.
Love 40, Roddick has 2 challenges remaining.
Gee, this kid has some talent. He can really whale the ball. He looks like he'd weigh 160 kilos ringing wet.
60, Fitzy, not 160.
160 pounds, maybe.
Oh, sorry, okay.
Oh,
15,
that was close too.
But what a quick arm he has. Like, some guys have this natural motion with their arm and flexibility in their arm. He can really whip it.
As he does so often, saving break points with the huge serve. Result there for Australia's Paul Handley on the outside court, court 10. New partner for him this year, Lucas Delui. It's a good win over Early Ram. They're Australian Open champions just a few years ago, so straight sets win for Paul Handley.
Mr. Roddick challenging the call, right centre service line. Ball was called false.
Whoa. Worth the challenge though, isn't it? There's the break. Dolgopolov got the former champion or current defending champion in trouble. He leads 2-1.
Dolgopolov leads 2-1. Roddick has 1 challenge remaining. Take your seats quickly, please. Time.
There's heaps of action around the grounds at the Queensland Tennis Centre kids zones for all the kids to go out and play hot shots, tennis, face painting, and of course there's quite a few matches still on those outside courts. In here though, early break to Alexandr Dolgopolov.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, players are ready.
And interestingly enough, Roddick's already used 2 of his allocated 3 challenges per set. It's very early days, so that may become a little bit of an issue as this set progresses.
Sorry, Jeff, like so many of the Eastern European players, Dolgopolov's parents both come from a sporting background. His mother was a gymnast, silver and gold medalist in the European Championships, and father was a former tennis pro as well. One of the stories that I was told was that his mother stretched him incredibly from a very early age. I think that helps get that fast arm. Consolidates and leads 3-1.
Southern Summer of Tennis is proudly brought to you by Kia, major sponsor of the Australian Open. Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. And Medibank, we're simplifying health insurance.
Coach would be happy, so stretched him to get more flexibility or taller?
Well, I think he would have liked a couple of extra inches.
I think so.
He's 6 foot though.
15 love.
Oh, that's as quick as we've seen this week, 217 kilometres an hour, because it's not a particularly quick surface, so to get that sort of speed off the court, you've got to have some genuine racket head speed.
Love.
Well, you just knew that Andy Roddick would be fired up this game. He does not like to lose serve to anybody on any surface, so he's really deciding to let fly here in this game and say that's not going to happen again.
Roddick.
Powers his way through, but Dolgopolov up a break. He leads by 3-2 first set.
Leads 3 games to 2.
Hard to play this guy. Wouldn't like to. I wouldn't like to be feeling a little edgy or nervy and have to try to find your way into a match.
Yeah, he's not going to let you get grooved. He can generate pace from the back of the court easily. That's cruel. They're females anyhow.
Time. 15 love.
Having seen quite a bit of him over the last month, Jeff, there's one thing that he does tend to do, Alexander, and that is he hits to the same spots, but the problem is he hits the ball so clean and so hard you still can't cover them.
Well, showing us some good variety in that point as well. Some very penetrating slice backhands and then coming over the ball. It looks like there's a lot of flourish in his forehand, but he gets the racket head back at the right place at the right time. This forehand here, look at the back swings, a lot of flourish, but bang, a lot of racket head speed. The finish is good.
$40-15.
You know, he's got such a modern attitude, has Alexandr Dolgopolov. When he gets the right ball, as soon as there's an inkling of an opportunity to use his weapon, which is mainly the forehand, he just goes for it and finishes the point. And he hits it hard, but with a lot of depth as well. And then he just pins his opponent down.
We don't talk about it that much. Roddick serves such a big weapon, but his defensive skills are incredibly good, and you could see that during that point. He got pushed deep and wide on the forehand, but he covered the ball with a lot of spin, a lot of height, got it deep, and that drew an error.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and that's another reason why Roddick's coach, Harry Stefanki, was keen on Andy losing just a couple of kilos beginning of last year, so his mobility remained good.
He was up 40 love, brought it back to Juice Roddick, but then quickly Dolgopolov seals it at 4-2.
Dolgopolov leads 4 games 2-2.
Just keeping you updated what's going on on the outside courts. Benjamin Becker down 5-2 against Geraldo. Becker, of course, took out the number 3 seed Fernando Verdasco in the opening round yesterday.
Just had a look a moment ago at Coach Stefanki, who's been with Roddick for some time now.
15 love.
Flat serve on this occasion. He can slice it, top spin it, hit it flat. And of course, one of the great attributes of his serve is the quality of his second serve. He gets so much bite, work, spin, bounce, pace, everything.
30 love.
Racking up the aces.
This is the one that he comes around the outside of the ball, the right-hand side of the ball, makes the ball curl from right to left. The previous point on the first court, he'd gone flat down the centre with the same toss.
40-15.
At times the backhand defies physics. It's a funny little whip at the ball, but there's so much speed coming off it.
He does take it really on the rise, though. He moves forward, takes it. He took that last serve up around shoulder height, so I guess if you're hitting it up shoulder height, you can get away with not a lot of spin. He's just using trajectory down into the court.
Roddick.
Dolgopolov still holds a break. It's 4-3.
Dolgopolov leads 4-3. New balls, please. Time.
Alexandr Dolgopolov serving with new balls.
Fitzy, you mentioned his fast arm on the serve before. It's a different swing, but not unlike Roscoe Tanner, American player.
Yeah, Roscoe Tanner had that short ball toss, didn't he? He used to hit it on the way up. But this is a very quick arm action. You know, to me, he's a cross between, if you're from another generation, Kelly Evenden from New Zealand and Xavier Malise from this generation. He struts around the court just like both of those guys, but gee, he's got some flair.
Oh.
You just wonder sometimes about the solidity, though, that when it comes to the crunch, how solid is he going to be when it really matters? He's got all the flair, all the racket head speed. He crushes the ground stroke, and he'll hit a lot of winners. How strong and solid can he be when it matters? That's the question.
Bit of an indication there, I think, Fitzy. That was a big first serve that he wasn't expecting to come back and hadn't prepared and got caught out with the footwork. Roddick a chance to get his break back.
I think he's the type of player that will take a lot of risks, and even then went for a big second serve at 15-40. I mean, to hold your serve here might be the first set, so he just takes a risk all the time when he needs to.
Not a lot of margin on that passing shot. Roddick levels it. Coming up tonight, Marcus Bagdatis has survived a bit of a scare yesterday, dropping the first set, but came back in a tight match. Takes on the Pole, Lucas Kubot.
Good game there, wasn't it, from Roddick? He was really solid and tough there. And just played the sort of game that a seasoned professional would when down a break.
15 love.
Little squash shot there. Pretty good move to come in and try the drop volley, the lob volley. Roddick was beaten. Just a little deep.
I talked earlier about the defensive skills of Andy Roddick. That ball was one that you could get up on, but you could see the shot selection was rash. It wasn't really the right ball to be going quickly up the line with, that hard, that flat. And that's what Roddick does so much better out of these two. And that's, I think, what will probably get him across the line here. He seems to have settled.
Yeah, Todd, you're so right. That previous forehand he attempted, he just ran straight through. He probably moved 3 metres through that ball without getting set and balanced. So that's the, you know, the scare, I think, in terms of his game, or the scary part of it, whether he can be consistent enough.
Andy Roddick has righted the ship. It's back on serve in the opening set of the men's second round. Roddick leads 5-4.
5 games to 4. Time. 15.
Big crowd, sorry Jeff, around the grounds today, as you would expect for so many big players here. The game just unravelling the shot selection, isn't it, from Dolgopolov?
Yeah, 4-5, first point. You've got to be really tough and solid.
$15 all.
Just going for wrong shots at the wrong time. You got to wait longer. That ball there, low, trying to whip it hard over the highest part of the net, hooking it with nowhere to go. And Roddick, 2 set points.
30-40.
Yeah, Todd, Andy Roddick's not going to blow you away from the back of the court. You don't need to go on that low percentage shot all the time for the winner. You just give some respect to a difficult ball, get it back into play, probably deep, wait for the chance where you get the high percentage shot.
Second double fault, and it's Andy Roddick. Slow start, but he takes the first set, 6-4.
This is a song full of metaphors. All I've been eating is tobacco.
Time. Second set. Roddick to serve.
Andy Roddick just doing all he's needed here to Jeff Masters. He really hasn't played exceptional tennis other than get the ball back in and ask the question of Dolgopolov of if he's willing to whether he's willing to take a big scalp, and so far he hasn't shown the, I suppose, the composure or maturity to do that.
Yeah, look, full credit to Roddick. He's doing what he needs to do. He's sussed out his opponent and realises that Dolgopolov likes to pull the trigger sometimes far too early, so that's smart play from Roddick and what we'd expect from a player of his calibre.
49. First game, second set.
Marty Fish is warming up there for his match tonight. He's on second after the Baghdadis Kubot match, and he takes on Roddick Stepanek, former champion and runner-up here in the past 2 years, Stepanek, and that'll be a good match too. Two of the more aggressive players on tour. Both players like to come forward, use the net. That's second this evening.
Well, there we saw it on the backhand side as well, where Dolgopolov just runs through the shot. It just seems to reduce the amount of margin he's got for error, and gee, it seems so unnecessary. You know, you get balanced, you have a lot more chance, you would think, to make those shots. Seems to have lost his way here a little bit. He started so well, and yes, hit some scary shots in the first half a dozen games, but now his percentage has dropped way off. And to beat a good player, a real good player like Andy Roddick, you need to be able to hit every ball in that you should. Mix in a few winners, but make the consistent balls time and time again.
Probably you've got to set up the winner, haven't you, Fitzy? Construct the point.
Oh, that was suicidal. And John Fitzgerald had just mentioned he seems to have lost his way. This next shot here is, well, he's behind the baseline. It's high enough to be a lob, and it's just indicative of a man who's just totally unsure of where to go next.
30-40.
Sixth ace, and it's coming just at the right moment because he really must hang on here. He led 4-2, remember, and since then he's lost 5 consecutive games.
Advantage. Roddick.
Another very low percentage play. That was a big point. Juice to hold your serve first game. He should have given that point a bit of respect. Got it back into play.
Fitzy, how much do you think this decision-making is his natural temperament, if you will, or it's as a result of feeling that, well, I'm playing one of the world's great players, I've got to do more? Is that an issue, do you think, or is it just his temperament?
Look, I think it's more his temperament, but I haven't seen him a lot yet, but it just seems to be the way his temperament is. I think you need to find the balance, you know, like to be a player with great flair is one thing, and a talented striker of the ball, which he obviously is. But if you mix in so much non-percentage tennis with that, then you're going to struggle to beat the good players.
Well, this is a gem because this is a good volley from Dolgopolov. It's low. Roddick hits around the outside of the ball, curls it in from right to left. There it is, curling in. Terrific shot, and there was a real positive affirmation there from Roddick. He knew how big that point was.
Updating you on outside court scores, Benjamin Becker hanging in there against Geraldo in that second round match. Dropped the first, 6-3, and is leading 3-2.
15.
See, Dolgopolov can't read that serve. He was moving to his left to cover the centre, so that's again one of the reasons Roddick's been one of the service leaders every year on tour, because his serve is unreadable, and his team would be very pleased with the way it's going.
39.
Talk about his team there. That was Coach Larry Stefanki, but with the cap and glasses there and the red hat is Doug Spreen. He's his physiotherapist. Travels week in, week out with Andy. He was a long-time servant of the ATP Tour.
That's a rare overhead miss from Roddick. Normally very, very secure in the air.
A lot of the players have done that over the past years, but all the good physiotherapists that have been in the training room putting bodies back together say, righto guys, I'm going to take him myself and you can't have him. So that was what happened with Doug Spreen. I know he put my body back together a couple of times.
14-15.
And what a body type.
Thank you, Fitzy. That's enough from you over there.
Now, look, Roddick is the epitome of being solid. He gets the ball back. He's not too proud to hack the ball back when he needs to. He pays respect to balls he needs to defend on. And for a big man, he covers the court beautifully. Dolgopolov can take a little bit out of his book.
Well, it's a dozen aces for Andy Roddick. He's in charge now. He leads by a set. 3 games to love in the second. Players making their way back into the court to get ready. Alexandr Dolgopolov got a lot of work to do here. There's a few lessons for him, really. If you're going to make that extra step in this next 12 months from his current ranking and break into the top 30 and 20 in the world. He really needs to work on setting up points because he's got so much firepower. He can hit winners from anywhere, but learning how to choose when and what time to do that.
Well, at least emotionally, he still looks as if he's involved here, Dolgopolov. He's emotionally looking like he's not going away. He's lost 7 of the last 7 games, Dolgopolov. Can he stop the rot here?
Roddick leads 3 games to 1.
This is what he's up against. This is the Roddick first serve points, and how he hits his spots. Look at those serves, the red spots of the first serves, how close they are to the lines. Often they're almost one on top of the other, and as ever, winning a huge percentage of points when the first serve goes into play, 85% of points. Many serves wide there to the forehand as well. The ball just breaking away, and only lost the blue spots there. Only serve, only points he's lost when the first serve goes into play. So it's always such a weapon for him. Net cords vary so much from tournament to tournament depending on how taut the nets are. If they're pulled really tight, sometimes the net cords bounce up high and almost go deep and long. Not so here in Brisbane. Most of the net cords are bouncing over reasonably dead.
30-15.
Not his quickest of the afternoon. He's been up to 217. But look at it again. On the line, the accuracy consistently superb.
That accuracy continues. Andy Roddick. 6-4, 4-1.
Roddick leads 4 games to 1.
Well, that's one of those flat backhands that Todd Woodbridge was alluding to.
And if you're a fan of Powderfinger, that's Darren Middleton in the middle of your screen there. Great Australian band from Brisbane. They're just starting to hang things up though, unfortunately, for all their fans.
They've been heavily involved with the Young Care program, Powderfinger Boys. That's facilities for those who are got some health issues that aren't elderly, and that's been a great attribute and a great community involvement that the boys have had.
15-7.
Oh, it's just all going awry for Dolgopolov now. That last backhand didn't really commit to it. Didn't have racket head speed.
Imagine Dolgopolov's coach, Jack Reeder, who we saw on the screen. He would have given Alexander a brief. I mean, everybody knows Andy Roddick very well. And the brief is you don't have to panic against him because he'll give you a lot of balls to keep in the point. And Andy doesn't hit a lot of natural winners. He does off the serve, but not through the rest of the play. So you've got a breathing space, particularly through the backhand wing.
So are we assuming he picked up the wrong brief?
Well, he certainly hasn't reread it during the change of ends when he's cleared his mind, because he continues to rashly swing as he did just then.
Yeah, this low margin for error, it looks fantastic when it comes off, but it just gives too many free points away. And the indication he's got low margin for error is the length of point we're seeing. That was one of the longer points we've seen in a while, and it was only probably 8 or 10 shots. So quite often the point's over in 2 or 3 shots, which means he's either crushing a winner or missing a ball. It's just a bit inconsistent, I think. And he doesn't need to go for such a fine line attempt every time. He should pay respect to the ball, get it back deep and wait for an easier ball. It's called risk for reward. If you take too much risk when there's no reward, the percentages don't work.
Well, that's risk reward right there. He's at full stretch. That needed to be high back in the point, a neutral or defensive shot. He's gone for a full-out attacking shot from a very bad part of the court. Look where he is on the court, full stretch, and he's tried to hit it hard, not on. Wasn't a good drop shot. Roddick would not be happy with his own response here. He attempted the drop shot back, and clearly Dolgopolov with too many options.
Advantage, Roddick.
Well, with the double break, we're not far away from Andy Roddick wrapping up this second round match.
Roddick leads 5 games to 1.
And it really did look like in the first 6 games that Dolgopolov could pull off a really big upset, but then he's let himself down a little bit, I feel, and he hasn't been able to construct points, work himself into it. And I think a lot of people that have seen this match, particularly in the locker room, will have got a lot for their black book about what they need to do when they play him also.
Yeah, Todd, I think the percentages tell you that a winner like that, that's not, the majority of times tennis matches are not won by hitting tons of winners like that. In the modern game, it's more inclined to be, there's more inclined to be more winners, but you still have to play with that smart margin for error, like Roddick does. And when you need to defend, you defend. When you need to pay a ball respect and get it into the court to keep yourself alive.
It's a good point, Fitzy. I'll just give you the stats that Roddick's hit 4 winners off the forehand to 12 forced errors. On the other side, Dolgopolov's hit 11 winners compared to 23 unforced.
30-15.
I mean, he's certainly an interesting character, though, and I think he's a player to watch, no doubt, because he's got so much flair. I mean, he's just going to bring interest to the sport. But to get to the upper echelon of the game, you know, he's going to need to tighten up in some areas, and to beat players of the calibre of Andy Roddick, he needs to improve in a few areas.
Double match point for the defending champion.
Game 7 match.
So there it is, Andy Roddick, the ultimate professional, really finding all the answers here this afternoon against Alexandr Dolgopolov, who really does have some potential, but Roddick from 4-2 down in the first set, sussed out his opponent and came home in straight sets.
Let's give Alexandr Dolgopolov a round of applause too for his efforts before he leaves centre court. We wish Alexander the very best of luck as he heads towards the Australian Open.
It's a young man, certainly with some talent.
Andy in a moment. He'll have a chat with Todd Woodbridge.
And it's all about learning, though, isn't it? And Roddick there, always very popular with crowds around the world, and certainly the case here in Brisbane, where he is the defending champion. Coach Stefanki would be pleased with that performance, without question. He marches forward and had a good workout against a style of player that he would not have seen much of before, but as we said, he sussed it out, got the job done. So he's on his way over, and he's going to talk with our own Todd Woodbridge.
We'll let Andy put his bags down. Congratulations, Andy. It was an unusual start, wasn't it? Because you know Dolgopolov, he can really smack winners, and you didn't look rattled, but it was tough for you.
Well, he was definitely up, but I didn't feel terrible about the way I was playing. You know, if someone decides they're going to try to hit a winner on every first ball and they convert, it makes it tough. But I think the biggest thing for me was just to stay in it and see if he could do it for an entire match. And I think eventually it might have caught up to him a little bit.
Yeah, it sure did. Now, what about your time here in Brisbane? You're the defending champion. You obviously like it. You're playing well again this year. We've got all the locals here. What are your favourite spots here in Brisbane?
My room, which is number... last year was my first year here, and I missed out on Brisbane a long time in my career, so I'm glad I could make it here eventually, and I'm happy to be back.
Well, the fans here missed out on Brisbane too until this beautiful tennis centre was built. What are your thoughts on the Pat Rafter Arena?
Well, I like the name of it. They might have named it Sorry Mate Arena after, his ball tosses, but it's a great venue. I mean, what can you say? I hear you have a couple of these around the country. Now, if we just get the USTA to build a couple of these around the country, we'd be good.
Well, we're working on trying to get the players as well as the tennis centres, as you know. One thing, you've got your entourage with you, your coach Larry and Doug Spreen, your physio. Your wife's back. We're very pleased to see her. Her career's going strong, and she's got a movie coming out February 11 or something like that. You got a synopsis for us? Are you allowed to talk about it?
I'm allowed to talk about it. I think everybody should go see Just Go With It, February 11th, starring Brooklyn Decker, Adam Sandler, and Jennifer Aniston. I should be better at this, at plugging the movie, but I'll get there. She's doing great. She's happy, and she kind of comes on tour when she can, but for some reason she always makes it a point to come down here this month. So that says a lot. We love being here.
We like having you too. Just one before you go. Obviously, North Queensland is in difficulty at the moment with the floods, and a lot of you may not know, but Andy's donating $100 for every ace that he serves. He served 15 today. There's 15. The more you go, the more they get.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the credit should go to Sam Stozer. It was her initiative, and she came up with the idea, and I was only happy to follow her lead.
Well, we're glad that you continue to serve so well. Ladies and gentlemen, true champion, congratulations today, Andy Roddick.
In the previous game, covering all, executing a cross-court backhand pass.
Ran up for that ball and just...
So the defending champion Andy Roddick through the quarterfinals here at the Brisbane International for the second straight year. A 6-4, 6-1 victor over